All right, this is take 20. I'm not doing this again. I'm trying to keep it in a short time. But today we're going to talk about TOTP strings and solution to PHR security. Forgive me for talking fast, but I'm long-winded and on a limited time frame. If you don't know who Duo.com is, they are pioneers in the two-factor authentication industry. They were um, one of the frontline leaders in the push to integrate two-factor authentication. And according to an article from 2014, the federally mandated switch from paper records to digital records has the healthcare industry transitioning to the widespread use of PHRs, but application security is still a concern. They also say that the healthcare is responsible for the most data breaches, with 36% compared to the second highest, which is education at 16%. So essentially, the healthcare industry is responsible for over 1/3 of the data breaches. 89% of people reported that all they needed was a username and password to log in. And while we've integrated a lot of technology since then, privacy and security are and always will be one of our main concerns going forward. Um, Duo.com, they did a poll here. You'll see asking users what type of authentication they needed when to gain access to your personal health information when they were on the job. 89% said a simple username and password, and the closest number to that was 21% with a digital certificate. One-time passwords, 16%. This is back in 2014, so we're marching forward here. You'll see healthcare 36%, education 16%, government 13%. These are the big three. There are other sectors, but essentially healthcare is number one, and that statistic remains to be true to this day. Pretty much everybody knows what a one-time password is. You're trying to log into your ETSU and it texts you a 6-digit passcode or whatnot. Trying to log into Gmail. It can be any kind of alphanumeric one-time passcode that can be used one time and it's no good. Then you got HOTP, and the H means hash-based message authentication code. Simply put, HOTP strings are OTPs where you have a static seed and the moving factor is the counter. Keep this in mind as we go forward. A TOTP string is a time-based OTP where the seed is static and the moving factor is time-based rather than counter-based. The amount of time in which password is valid is called a time step. They're typically in 30 to 60 seconds, but you can make them as short as you want. And every time that a new time step happens, it basically reruns the algo and gives you another code. So, and I'll demonstrate that here in a minute with Python coding. HOTP, a little visualization here. The TOTP string background. You've got your secret key, which is your seed. This is something you never ever want to lose, misplace, put in a unsecure area. This is something you want to lock up in your vault. Print it off and lock it up in your vault. Don't put it in the cloud. Don't leave it on your desktop. Don't do anything else with it, but print it off and put it in your vault. How do TOTP strings work? In TOTP strings, we've got your secret key and your seed, but the moving factor is time, which is usually 30 to 60 seconds. Now you can alter that, but I mean, who's going to be able to get the time or who's going to be able to get the code and type it in 5 seconds? So, I mean, you kind of got to figure 30. It takes at least 30 seconds to get the code and type it in, but you can see here how they work. You've got your shared secret, you've got your token, and then you've got your cryptographic hash on both your TOTP token and server, and it has to verify that these two match. And since it's time-based, you'll see my one-time password is 489523, and if it does not equal that, authentication failed. If it does, authentication passed. There are some problems with TOTP strings that can make them vulnerable. The number one problem is people insecurely storing their seeds or secret keys, which means I printed mine off, I left it on the countertop, and my kids took it to school, and now everybody has it. TOTP strings are apps that are usually installed on mobile devices, which are vulnerable to malicious apps that could steal your seed or your TOTP string secret key. Many users may store their TOTP string insecurely, and not everyone has a mobile device to use with TOTP. Another problem is if you lose your mobile device or it's stolen, then you can't authenticate. So if somebody steals my phone right now, then essentially I couldn't authenticate, but I could because I have backups. So if I didn't have backups, I wouldn't be able to authenticate. But Ching Kun Wang from businessperspectives.org claimed that security and privacy are two crucial issues in the protection of health information. And as I just said, if you haven't figured that out by now, then you know now. Wang claimed that successful implementation and application of electronic medical information that includes EMRs, EHRs, PHRs, is a very difficult task due to a mixture of technical, organizational, and political issues. You got to keep in mind that you got the tech side of it, you've got the organizational side of it, and then there's also laws like HIPAA and the HITECH Act that factor in. We've got healthcare laws, which are political issues. I'm not going to cover this, but basically there are 6 subfields to the privacy and security of health information. Personal health records, HIPAA privacy rules, authentication, protecting health privacy, encryption, and electronic health records. Wang points out that it's up to the designer of the electronic health information system to prevent unauthorized use and hacker attacks, and that basically means us. It's our job to keep the hackers out. They claim that authentication and cryptographic key management will become the choice of protection for privacy and security, and this was in 2013. So looking back, you'll see that's proven to be true because a lot of people are integrating TOTP strings. They're just not forcing it, and that's what we're going to have to do. Why are TOTP strings the answer? Well, look at it. Can you guess that? That's a 16-digit alphanumeric code, randomly generated, and 16 digits is just what standard TOTP strings are, and they use the cryptographic hash HMACSHA1. If you can crack that, please let me know. Your secret key seed is virtually unhackable. I mean, it just is. The most security breaches result in people losing their secret keys or seeds, and then that allows access. So, but with anything with enough intelligence, computing power, social engineering, and time, you can hack anything. TOTP strings solve this problem because most hackers don't have enough computing power to crack a cryptographic hash in 30 seconds. Since the key rotates every 30 seconds, you've got a virtually unhackable solution if you don't share your secret key or seed. This is something you never share, ever. And here you've got a little graphic visualization of a hacker versus TFA, 2FA, and TOTP strings. You'll see he's got a 30-second timer there, and he runs out of time because this is what all TOTP strings do, and he's got 30 seconds to hack that, so he runs out of time and loses. Um, and here is a little Python code I wrote. You're more than welcome to this code if you want to generate your own TOTP string. And it's a little demonstration. I know this presentation is running a little long, but I really wanted to get this in here. This is an actual visualization of how TOTP works in Python, the coding behind it. So I'm checking to see if the code 492039 is true, and you'll see up here it's true. Okay, I rest it for 30 seconds. I check it again. The code rotated, so it's false. Now my TOTP code is 507504. Rest it for 30 seconds. 567249. So the code changes rapidly. And you can even use this code I wrote here to generate your own 16-digit TOTP string. Now, this code will generate a random one, so it's not going to give you that particular key. It's going to give you a random one. And I've actually even made it where you can scan it with your phones, and you can add it to any authentication app that exists. And you'll see here how it runs. You'll see it checked it for true. And then the rest of the code just runs and gives you the answers that I showed you just a second ago. References.